Morning all. It's 9 o'clock on Monday morning and the campsite's just waking up. Bit of a grey day. It's going to get to about 19 degrees. Sunny spells. So the weatherman says. I'm off on a trip. When I say trip, it's a legs trip. Walking down to the village of Veryan or Veryan, and there are three things that I'm interested in having a look at there. So we'll see how we get on with that, and then possibly down to the beach at Carne, which is a National Trust beach, National Trust car park for those that are coming by wheeled vehicles. It's actually a little bit chilly at the moment, but once I get going, I've got about a mile and a half to go, I think. Mainly roads. The paths across fields and whatnot are quite good when you want to go in a certain direction, like yesterday. But for this one, it's sticking to the road. It's not busy, so hopefully I'll survive it. Actually, when I say yesterday, that's not right. Yesterday was Sunday and it was overcast all day. It was a bit like it is now. It was quite warm, but a slow start. And then I thought I need a day to do this little route. So it's pottering about, filling, emptying, all the usual stuff. And then the pizza man came in the evening, wood-fired pizza oven. He turned up at 5 o'clock. So I had a little pizza there. That was delicious. $13.50. Not the cheapest I've had, but local business, wanted cash rather than card. That's fair enough. So contributed to that. And yes, that was a delicious pizza. So I'm starting this walk. I've decided not to go on the road because a whole heap of vans came past. I'm going down two sides of the triangle instead of one side. So this is the route I did 2 days ago to Portloo. So I'm heading halfway down that track and then going across. That's more like it, as a proper style. Do they call them something different down in Cornwall? Don't know. Anyway, that's not going away anytime soon. Trouble is, it brings me into this field. At least these sheep have had a haircut. And I've got to get across that gate. Alright, let's give it a go. Oh, good. They're running away. I remember doing a bit of walk on Hadrian's Wall, and there was one field I went into full of sheep, and they were coming towards me as though it was feeding time. That was a bit scary. Most of these are dispersing. There's one here, a bit of a brute, who's looking at me. And there's always one. Yeah, he looks ready to attack. Right, I'm out of here. It's like parting the sea. My next danger is a field full of coos. I went through a field day before yesterday. I don't think it was this one, which had coos looked a bit more lively. As long as these stay sitting down. Just planning my escape route as well, which is back where I came from. It's alright, coos, just stay there, no big deal. Oh. He's looking at me, looking at him. Oh. Perhaps I shouldn't point the camera at them. It's alright, you just stay there. Oh, there's more of them getting up. How fast the cows run. It's alright, cows. No. Stay. Is that how you tell them to stay? Stay. I told him. Right, I think I made it. I'm almost at Veryan. I've just come across these little row of cottages. This is Veryan Green, so I think it joins Veryan Main. Just down the street there. Very pretty, very quiet. I've just come to the outskirts of Veryan now. The church chimed 10 o'clock, so it's taken me about an hour from the campsite. I did stop and chat to a few people, but it's brought me down to this little park. There's a nice little walkway down the side of the road rather than being in the road. And we've got a lovely little park here. And on the map there's something about a water garden just up here, so we're going to see what that looks like. So this is what they call the water garden, and there's a little slate plaque saying a Millennium Project supported by funds from the National Lottery. Awesome bit of woodwork there on that bridge, and at the bottom end of the water garden, that's some bit of timber, that is. Oak, I presume. Anyway, water's going out. Very pleasant. A few chairs around, you can sit. This is a very well looked after little village, this. So there's a plaque there commemorating people who fought in the Great War. And I see there's something else over there, fenced off. Let's go and have a look at that. There is a school here as well, so it must be a reasonable sized village. So we've got a nice little well behind the green gates. And it says, this well, erected by the Reverend Samuel Trist, vicar of St Veryan for 40 years, has been restored by Pendarves Trist of this parish to commemorate the coronation of Their Majesties King George V and Queen Mary, November 1912. This is the first reason for coming to Veryan. And we've come to St Symphorian Church. There are some Commonwealth war graves in here. Didn't say how old it is. But it looks old. very mature. Still can't find what I've come to see. Just to go around the other side. Look at that tomb. Resurgimus. I'll look that up, see what that means. Fortunately, this one next to it has suffered from the weather, elements, rain, you name it. I'm still walking around. This is the newer area. Suddenly found a sign. Good, another sign. I'm going to read some information off the board in the campsite. This is why I've come here. This grave is roughly 30 metres long, making it the longest in the UK. It contains the bodies of 15 of the 19 sailors who died on a tragic night in 1914. They were buried head to foot beside a boundary hedge. As you can see, this is a huge grave. So the story of what happened, it was the 1st of February 1914. The HERA, HERA, a German cargo ship on her way to Falmouth, ran into dirty weather off the Lizard. Her chronometer had failed. The ship's clock was an hour slow. Consequently, in the thickening fog, the crew were unable to take proper bearings. The weather worsened and the crew's hopes of reaching Falmouth began to fade. Then suddenly breakers were sighted, indicating rocks nearby. The captain gave the order to put about, but it was too late. HERA struck the outer stones of the Gull Rock, just off Minehead, and quickly began to take on water. The port lifeboat was launched with most of the crew, but the captain and a few seamen were left on board the ship. Then quite suddenly the HERA just disappeared beneath the waves, taking the captain and the other men with her. All that was left was part of a mast sticking up above the water. The one remaining lifeboat was also swamped and the surviving men thrown into the sea. Luckily, 9 of them managed to reach the mast and clung on, shouting and blowing a whistle. By the time the Falmouth lifeboat arrived, there were only 5 men remaining. So I think I'm at the centre of the village now. There's another little green there with a sitting area. Very cute. And at the end of this road, lovely little post office and stores. Oh, I finally arrived at the second thing I was going to look at today, and this clump of trees is called Carne Beacon, just outside the village. Oh, I've got brown cows again. Let's have a walk around the outside. At least it's fenced off and not farmed. I've now arrived at Carne Beacon, or Veryan Barrow, as it says in my book. This information I'm going to read to you is from Wild Ruins BC, which is a very useful book. Points out lots of wild ruins dotted around the country, how to get there, and a bit of history about them. So my cup of tea. It says here that Carne Beacon is grown over with a chaotic ramble of flowering thistles, cow parsley, foxgloves, elder and hawthorn. It says the steps to the top do not cry out for the authenticity of the ancient barrow, but they do make an easier climb. From this vantage point, views out to Gerrans Bay should be sufficient to delight even the coldest of souls. Legend has it that this is the last resting place of the 6th century King Geraint, or Gerenius of Dumnonia, a folk saint still celebrated in the area. The story goes that his body was buried here in a golden boat with silver oars that brought him across Gerrans Bay. This mound is considered the largest Bronze Age burial mound in England, and although there would be enough room to house a boat, when it was opened in 1855, cremated remains and a stone cist were found, but sadly, no gold boat. Well, that was cool. The largest, or one of the largest in the country. I was going to have my lunch there, but it's only 11. I think I'll head down to the beach, sit there for a bit, and then work out how to get back. Not quite worked that out yet. Maybe they do buses from down there. The paths were going so well. Follow this little path or tarmac track down past a few houses up behind me, through the gate, and all of a sudden I've got this. I think this is overgrown. I see thistles, but I think the path goes that way. But I think it might be worth it. That is Carne, C-A-R-N-E. I bought a pasty at that shop, so I'm going to find myself somewhere to sit and just take in the waves. Someone has walked here before, but not in the last few years. Oh crikey, which way do I go? See you down there somewhere. I found a pathway down. I just came across a bunny rabbit. It was still moving. It was about a foot from the path, and it looked like it was resting. Eyes were open, but it didn't run off like they normally do when I approach. So I dribbled some water down its face. It was moving its mouth, so whether it was taking it in, I don't know. Anyway, I'll just leave it. Well, it's taken me 2.5 hours or so, but I'm now at Carne Beach. That's looking out to the west. Off round the corner there is St Mawes, then Falmouth, I believe. There's a big hotel. Can't quite read it. It might be called the Nare, N-A-R-E. Up here. There's a National Trust car park behind all that lot. And then this is the eastern end of the beach. Don't think I can access it. Well, I couldn't see a path coming down. So you come down in the middle and find somewhere to sit and have me pasty. And I think that's something called Minehead, N-A-R-E, Minehead. The southwest coast path goes up there. Nice spot on the rocks. Not too many flies here. And my pasty that I bought at the post office is still warm. Anyway, unless I see anything interesting, I'll catch you on the next one. Take care then, bye. I've come off the beach now and I'm heading back. It's about 4 miles back to the campsite and I'm heading up this valley. Still overcast. It's about 19-20 degrees. Can hear the bird song. Other than that, it's pretty quiet. My battery's almost gone now. I've come up that valley. It winds its way down to Carne beach. Only about 2.5 miles to go.